Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our Wednesday class with the prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha, Tatsavitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. अस्तो मा सद्गम्य तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गम्य मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गम्य ओम सहनावतु सहना भुनक्तु सवीर्यं करवावै तेजस्वी नावधीतमस्तु मा विद्वेषावै ओम शांति 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 ओम. There's a study of cosmology where the aim is to understand the origin and the nature of the cosmos. To some people, it's very fascinating. It is a branch of science, cosmology. To me, it's even more fascinating is Vedic cosmology. That means how our ancients understood the nature of the universe, even more insightfully than where science is just about reaching today. Don't forget, until a few hundred years ago, the Western world believed that the earth is flat. While in our heritage, the name for geography, we all know is Bhugol. Gol. That earth which is round, it's a study which we call geography, but we call it Bhugol. Here is a story to relish from the Purans. You all know the name Indra, the king of the celestial abodes. He is also called a Devraj. So he's a king of all the Devatas. In the Puranas, there's a story that once Indra commissioned Vishwakarma for making a mansion as big and as magnificent like no other mansion has ever been built. So Vishwakarma engaged in the work and was getting exhausted. He could not please Devraj. Either it was not beautiful enough or big enough. In desperation, Vishwakarma prayed to the Lord for help. Shri Krishna appeared before Indra and said, Devraj, such a huge house, you're having it made? How many Vishwakarmas have you engaged in it? Indra was astonished. Maharaj, I thought there's only one Vishwakarma, like there is only one Indra. The Lord smiled. By virtue of his Yog Maya, he began bringing ants to Swargalok, and that further astonished Indra. He said, Maharaj, what are these ants? Where are they coming from? Lord Krishna said, Indra, these ants are those souls who have been once Devraj like you. But now they are in the ant species. I have called them over to meet you. You can imagine how Indra's pride was squashed. Having been the king of the celestials, he thought that I can become an ant in the future. Giving that message, the Lord disappeared, and an elevated sage reached. The sage was carrying a straw mattress on his head, and he had a circle of hair on his chest, with a few of them fallen off. Indra welcomed that elevated sage and said, Maharaj, what is the secret of your peculiar appearance? And why do you carry this mattress on your head? The sage's name was Lomas Rishi. I'm sure some of you have heard that name. It's a very famous sage from our Purans. He said, Indra, I have the boon of a long, long life. Chir Ayu. Every time one Indra's lifetime is over, one hair from the circle falls off. And that is the gap of the hair in that circle on my chest. And my disciples, they proposed to build a house for me, but I told them that life is temporary. So I carry the straw mattress. On rainy days, it keeps me dry. And when I wish to sleep at night, I lay it down and lie over it. Indra thought, my God, somebody who has such a long life is saying that it's temporary. And I am busy making such a big house for myself. Now his ego was squashed. But now let's come to that topic of Vedic cosmology. See, the Western world, until a few hundred years ago, subscribed to the geocentric theory, according to which the earth is the center of all creation. And even the sun rotates around the earth, according to that theory. When Copernicus proposed the heliocentric theory, and Bruno, an Italian monk, he scolded Copernicus, Bruno was burned to the stake. How dare you say that the earth is not the center? However, Galileo, he invented his telescope, which is today called the Galilean telescope, where instead of two convex lenses, he had one convex and one concave lens. And he proved that scientific data that Copernicus is right. The theory get accepted. But the belief was that the planets were rotating in the perfect circles around the sun. And then it took Kepler to point out that the orbits are not circular, but elliptical. Further progress in science brought about the understanding that sun is also rotating around the center of the galaxy, which was named the Milky Way. And subsequently, other galaxies apart from this began getting discovered. Now look, in contrast, what the Vedas have been telling us for thousands of years. As per the Vedas, there are 7 lokas, 5 mandalas, and 3 trilokes. The first is the Chandra Mandal, with its lok, Chandra lok, or the moon. The Vedas say that the Chandra Mandal is not stationary. It is rotating around the Mandal, whose name is Bhumandal, and whose lok is Bhulok, the earth. But the Vedas say that the Bhumandal is also not stationary. It is rotating around another Mandal, which is called a Surya Mandal, and whose lok is Swarlok, the sun. And the antariksh between the two is called bhuva. So bhu, bhuva, swar forms the first triloki. In our mantras, we recite that. Om, bhu, bhuva, swar. The Vedas go on to elaborate that this Surya Mandal is also not stationary. It is orbiting around the Parmeshti Mandal, whose lok is Jan lok. And between Swar and Jan is the Antariksha called Maha. It further goes on to say that the Parmeshti Mandal is in orbit around Swambhu Mandal, whose lok is Brahma lok, like the abode of Brahma. And the Antariksh between the two is Tapa. So Jana, Tapa, Satya forms the third triloki. So thereby there are these three triloki, 5 mandals and 7 loks. It is just touched upon by the other theologies which talk about Satma Asma, 7th heaven. But you will find the details of all this in the Vedic literature. That's why I said this is like a Vedic cosmology. The Vedas further go on to talk about the nether regions as well. And they say that below Bhulok are the hellish abodes. Tal, Atal, Vital, Sutal, Mahatal, Talatal, Rasatal, and Patal. I'm sure you are familiar with some of these terms. So 7 below and 7 above as well. How did the Vedas know all of this? When the rest of the world believed that the earth is flat and the center of the universe. Something to think about. The Puranas relate the story of when Chaturmukhi Brahma, that means the 4-headed Brahma, went to meet Lord Krishna. When Lord Krishna was residing in Dwarka. So we are talking about that Dwapar Yuga, current Dwapar Yuga. Brahmaji told the gatekeeper, please tell Dwarkadhish that Brahmaji wishes to meet him. The Dwarpal went and told Lord Krishna. Shri Krishna said, ask him which Brahma is he. When the gatekeeper came and asked, Brahmaji was puzzled. I thought I was the only Brahma. Is there any apart from me as well? Nevertheless, he told the Dwarpal, go and tell him the father of Sanakadik Paramhansa, Chaturmukhi, the 4-headed Brahma is here. When the Dwarpal conveyed the message, Shri Krishna smiled and said, call him in. In Lord Krishna's presence, Brahmaji offered his respects. And the first question he asked was this, Bhagwan, what did you mean by saying which Brahma? Is there any apart from me? Lord Krishna smiled. By the power of his Yoga Maya, he called all the Brahmas from the innumerable universes. They were all coming and offering their obeisance to Lord Krishna. Our Brahmaji saw there is one Brahma with 100 heads. He thought, I have 4 heads. He has 100. How big will his universe be? And then there were Brahmas coming who had 1,000 heads. How big would be their universe? And there were also Brahmas who were coming who had 10,000 heads. And there were such Brahmas arriving who had 100,000 heads. how big would be their universe. But also Brahmas appeared on the scene who had 10 times bigger than the previous one. And there were Brahmas who had 1,000,000 heads also. When our Brahmaji saw all these Brahmas arriving, who had millions and billions heads, he wondered how big their universe must be. Seeing that mind-boggling spectacle, our four-headed Brahma fell at the feet of Lord Krishna in the spirit of surrender and said, Pahimam, Pahimam. My Lord, forgive me, protect me. I was unaware of your infinite glory. So as per the Vedas, and as confirmed by the modern scientific multi-universe theory, there are innumerable universes. Each universe has got 3 governors. One is Shankar, one Brahma, and one Vishnu. Science informs us, like the sun, there are 100 billion stars in this galaxy. And like this galaxy, the modern estimates say that there are 100 billion galaxies. Multiply 10 to the power 11 by 10 to the power 11, you get 10 to the power 22. Estimated numbers of stars that there are in the universe. And the Vedas inform us that like this universe, there are innumerable universes. So for this universe of the 4-headed Brahma, the Bhagavad Gita says, in the 17th verse of the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you have all studied it. Sahasra yoga paryantam aharyad brahmano vidu ratrim yoga sahasra antam teho ratri vidojana. One day of Brahma, a kalapa, lasts 1,000 cycles of the 4 ages. Mahayogsa. And his night also extends for the same span of time. The wise who know this, Vidojana, the wise who know this understand the reality about day and night. So amazing. So as per the Vedic cosmology, this present age, Kali Yuga, the age of Kali is going to be for a duration of 432,000 years, human years. Prior to this was a Dwapar Yuga, which was 864,000 years. Before that was Treta Yuga, which was 1,296,000 years. And before that was Satya Yuga, 1,728,000 years. You combine all 4 of them, you get a Maha Yuga. That is what is being referred in this verse, which is, if you add it all up, 4,320,000 years. And 71 such Mahayugas, when you combine them together, they form a Manvantra, the age of 1 Manu. And 14 Manvantras pass in 1 day of Brahma. Okay, this is all mentioned in the Vedas. So that 1 day of Brahma contains 1,000 cycles of Chaturyugas. Chaturyugas, all 4 yugas combined. that one day of Brahma, which is referred to as a Kalapa, is 4 billions and 320 million years. This is the biggest unit of time in the world. So at the end of Brahma's day, there is a partial pralaya, dissolution, where the earth, the lower abodes, and some of the higher abodes dissolve. Dissolve means they are manifested and they become unmanifested. And at the end of Brahma's entire lifespan, there will be Mahapralaya. So what is the Brahmaji's entire lifespan? 100 years with each day of that year equal to 1 kalapa. So that means 1 kalapa multiplied by that by 100. That is 311 trillion 40 billion human years. So this is talking about this universe of one Brahma. Like this, in the realm of God, there are so many material universes. And if you put all of them together, so not just our universe, but all other universes together, they form only 1/4 of God's creation. Even though it seems so big, all of them put together, only 1/4 of God's creation. That's what the Vedas say. And what is the 3/4? That is beyond the realm of Maya. So this is the realm of Maya, the material energy. But beyond that is even a bigger portion, 3/4. That is called a divine abode. From that 1/4, within that one universe, within that one galaxy, within that one solar system, within that our Earth planet, then even in that Earth planet, we are in one country. In that country also we are in one state. Even in that state, we are in one city. Then one neighborhood, one house. And even in that house, how much space we occupy. That should bring our mind to the insignificance of our own reality. How insignificant we are in front of the splendorous glory of God. When we think about it, reflect upon it, we should cultivate the super excellent virtue of humbleness, humility. Because even though our existence is small, the spark of God is small, which we are, but when we become one with Him, connect with Him, we become all. It's up to us whether we want to keep us separated. And the separateness happens because of the ego. Because we think we are so big. We think we have achieved so much. We think that we know so much. That's how we separate ourselves. But the more we know, more humble we become, more close we get to Him. See, the knowledge The real knowledge that should definitely make us humble. We have to keep on increasing the quality of our life by always keep on learning. Learning. We learn by ourselves also, by studying. We learn when we go to our gurus. We learn when we talk to other students also. The similar-minded people, when we discuss, we learn. We learn from several places, so keep learning. Always keep learning. Always keep growing. Keep growing. So pride should come down. Only then the growth will be. Keep persevering. Do not give up. Do not think that it's just not, I cannot do it. Those Vedic rishis, when they connected, their mind connected with God, they came up with all that. Which science these days, whatever they can test and analyze, it comes so close to what Vedas or the Vedic rishis have been saying. Even though science is far away, still knows only a little bit. And the fourth thing we got to always keep doing, keep serving. Humility makes us serve very easily. Always serving. So keep learning, keep growing, keep persevering, and keep serving. So that is the message we get from the Vedas. So let's stop it here today, and then we can have some discussion. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnam Eva Vishishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om.